Listen to me. I need you to lock in right now because I'm about to tell you something that's been bothering you for years. You've been sitting there wondering, why do the worst people seem to win? Why do the liars, the cheaters, the ones who don't do things the right way keep coming out on top? And you're frustrated, you're angry, you're tired of seeing people cut corners, step on others, and still get the promotion, still make the money, still get the recognition. And you're sitting there thinking, man, I'm doing it the right way. I'm working hard. I'm staying honest. I'm putting in the work. And I'm still not seeing the results. I hear you, but let me tell you something. Don't get distracted. See, you're too busy watching them, complaining about them, keeping your eyes on their race when you should be focused on your own. The reason it looks like they're winning is because you're still watching. But let me ask you this. Are they really winning or are they just ahead for now? See, life is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And let me tell you something about people who win the wrong way. They don't last. Oh, they might get the quick win. They might get the money. They might get the fame. But what they don't have is peace. What they don't have is legacy. What they don't have is a foundation that can stand the test of time. But listen to me. The strong survive, but the great ones endure. The real winners don't just win once, they keep winning. They build something that lasts. And let me tell you, if you stay committed, if you keep doing it the right way, if you refuse to take shortcuts, you will win in a way they never could. So don't you dare quit. Don't you dare get discouraged. Let them run their race the way they want to run it. Because when they burn out, when their shortcuts catch up to them, when their foundation crumbles, you will still be standing. Stay the course. Keep grinding. Keep your integrity. Because when you finally win, when you win, it won't just be for a season. It'll be forever. Now get up and go get it. Too many people waste their energy watching others instead of working on themselves. They get so caught up in what someone else is doing, how fast they're moving, how much success they're getting, that they take their eyes off their own path. They spend hours scrolling, watching, and complaining about how unfair it is that someone else is winning while they feel stuck. But here's the truth. Every second you spend watching someone else is a second you're not using to build yourself. Every moment you waste analyzing someone else's journey is a moment you could have been grinding, improving, and putting yourself in a position to win. The reason it feels like the worst people are always winning is because you're paying attention to them. You see their highlight reels, you see the cars, the money, the lifestyle, but you don't see what's happening behind the scenes. You don't see what they had to do to get there, and you definitely don't see the consequences that are coming. The reality is not everything that looks like a win is actually a win. Some people get things fast, but they lose them even faster. Some people appear to be winning, but internally they're miserable. The problem is when you spend too much time watching them, you start to feel like you're losing even when you're not. You can't build something great while being distracted. Imagine a sprinter in a race. The moment they start looking left and right to see where their competition is, they slow down. Their form breaks. Their momentum is gone. That's what happens to people who watch too much. They start strong, they have big goals, big dreams, but then they get distracted. They check social media. They compare themselves to others. They look at the people who seem to be taking shortcuts and getting ahead. And suddenly they start to question if what they're doing is even worth it. That's why most people don't succeed, not because they aren't capable, but because they lost focus. If you're always looking at someone else's success, you'll never feel like you have enough. You'll never feel like you're moving fast enough. You'll always be chasing, but never building. The truth is, the people who truly win in life aren't focused on who's ahead or behind them. They are locked in. They're obsessed with their own growth. They are committed to their own journey. They don't care what the next person is doing because they understand that their success has nothing to do with someone else's path. The worst mistake you can make is thinking that someone else's win is your loss. Just because they got an opportunity doesn't mean you won't. Just because they made $1 million doesn't mean there's no money left for you. Just because they're in the spotlight today doesn't mean your time isn't coming. But if you keep watching them, if you keep letting their success mess with your mind, you'll never get where you're supposed to be. You can't climb if you're too busy looking sideways. The reason the worst people seem to win is because they know how to be seen. They know how to create an image of success. But understand this, real winners don't have time to show off every step of the way because they're too busy working. Real winners don't spend their days posting their every move because they're locked in on their mission. That's why it looks like the loudest ones are winning, but don't be fooled. Just because someone is making noise doesn't mean they're making progress. Some of the greatest people to ever do it weren't worried about who was ahead of them. They weren't looking around, checking where everybody else was. They were focused. They were in the lab, working, grinding, pushing themselves to another level. That's what you have to do. You have to eliminate distractions. You have to cut off anything that's pulling your attention away from your own path. If watching other people is making you feel like you're behind, then stop watching. If scrolling through social media is making you doubt your progress, then log off. If comparing yourself to others is draining your energy, then shift your focus back to you. You can't let someone else's highlight reel mess with your reality. You don't know their full story. You don't know what they did to get there, and you don't know what they're struggling with behind the scenes. You might be admiring someone who's secretly drowning. You might be jealous of someone who would trade places with you in a second if they could. That's why you have to stop watching, because the more you watch, the more you assume. The more you assume, the more you doubt. And the more you doubt, the more you slow down. Think about how much further you'd be if you spent less time watching and more time working. Think about how many skills you could have mastered, how much knowledge you could have gained, how much progress you could have made if you weren't so consumed with what somebody else was doing. You are wasting your energy on the wrong things. The people who seem to be winning right now, they're not thinking about you. They're not worried about your next move. They are doing what they need to do to stay ahead. And if you want to win, you have to do the same. Your only competition is you. Your only focus should be on getting better, stronger, and smarter every single day. The moment you stop watching and start working, everything will change. A lot of people get fooled by quick success. They look at someone who seems to have it all, money, fame, power, and they assume that's what winning looks like. They see people who take shortcuts, who cheat the system, who step on others to get ahead, and they start to believe that's the only way to succeed. But what they don't realize is that quick success doesn't mean lasting success. The things that come fast often fall apart just as quickly. The people who rise the fastest without building a solid foundation are usually the ones who crash the hardest. There's a reason why you see so many people who had it all lose everything, celebrities who go broke, athletes who had millions but end up with nothing, business leaders who were on top but got caught up in scandals and lost it all. Because when you don't build something the right way, it doesn't last. You could take a shortcut to the top, but if you don't have the discipline, the character, and the foundation to stay there, it's only a matter of time before everything crumbles. Shortcuts might seem like the smart move in the moment. They might get you ahead faster, but every shortcut comes with a cost. Maybe it's cutting corners at work, thinking no one will notice. Maybe it's lying on a resume to get an opportunity you didn't earn. Maybe it's betraying someone's trust to climb the ladder. Whatever it is, it might give you an advantage for a little while, but eventually the truth comes out. Eventually, the work you didn't put in catches up to you. Eventually, the foundation you skipped over starts to crack. And when that happens, everything you built on top of it collapses. You have to understand that real success isn't about getting there first. It's about staying there. It's about building something that lasts. If you look at the most successful people who have sustained greatness over decades, they didn't take shortcuts. They put in the work. They stayed committed. They didn't let themselves get distracted by what everyone else was doing because they knew that the fastest route isn't always the best one. They were patient. They understood that taking the long road, the hard road, was the only way to make sure they had something that couldn't be taken away from them. The problem with shortcuts is they create false confidence. When you win the wrong way, You start to believe you don't need to work as hard. You start to think you're smarter than the system, that you found a loophole, that you can keep getting away with cutting corners. But success without the work is just an illusion. It might look good from the outside, but inside it's weak. It's fragile. It's just waiting for the right pressure to expose it. And when it gets exposed, it falls apart. Look at the difference between people who build success the right way and those who don't. The ones who put in the work, who stay patient, who refuse to cut corners, they don't just win once, they keep winning, they keep growing, they keep expanding. But the ones who take the easy way out, they peak fast and fall even faster. They might get attention, they might get money, they might get power, but they can't hold on to it. This is why you have to shift your mindset. Stop being impressed by quick success. Stop being fooled by people who seem to have it all overnight. Because real winners aren't the ones who get there the fastest. They're the ones who build something that can't be taken away. They're the ones who create legacies, not just moments. They're the ones who can still stand strong when everyone else falls. It's not just about external success either. Shortcuts destroy people from the inside out. When you know you didn't earn something, when you know you didn't put in the work, it eats away at you. You might try to ignore it, but deep down, you feel it. You feel the insecurity. You feel the fear that one day someone is going to find out. And that fear drives people to do even more reckless things, to take even bigger shortcuts, to keep covering up the truth until they can't anymore. That's why so many people who took the easy road end up self-destructing. They couldn't handle the pressure of pretending to be something they weren't. There's a confidence that comes from knowing you put in the work. There's a power that comes from knowing that you earned your success. When you don't take shortcuts, when you build something brick by brick, no one can take that away from you. No scandal can erase it. No exposure can ruin you because you know that everything you have, you built with your own hands. Too many people are looking for an easy way out. They want the success without the struggle. They want the rewards without the discipline. They want the benefits without the sacrifice. But life doesn't work like that. Anything worth having requires effort. Anything that truly matters takes time. And if you're not willing to put in that time, if you're always looking for a shortcut, you will never experience real success. The reason so many people fail in the long run is because they built their entire success on a weak foundation. They skipped steps, they rushed the process, they didn't take time to develop themselves, to master their craft, to build something real. And when you build on a weak foundation, you don't need a major disaster to knock you down. A little bit of pressure is all it takes. Think about the people who inspire you the most. The ones who have been winning for decades, the ones who built something that lasted. They didn't do it overnight. They didn't take the easy way out. They embraced the struggle. They stayed disciplined. They understood that the real reward isn't just reaching the top. It's becoming the person who deserves to stay there. That's why you have to stop looking for quick wins. That's why you have to stop being tempted by easy roads. Every time you think about taking a shortcut, remind yourself of the long-term consequences. Remind yourself that anything that comes easy will never truly be yours. Remind yourself that real success isn't just about getting there, it's about staying there. Most people want success, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with it. They want the rewards, the respect, the recognition, but they don't want to go through the fire to earn it. And that's why so many people turn to shortcuts, to dishonesty, to manipulation. They want the fast track, the easy way, the path with the least resistance. But here's the truth. Success without integrity is temporary. It might look good on the outside, but it's built on a foundation that will eventually collapse. Integrity is what separates the people who build legacies from the people who are just a momentary success. The ones who do it the right way, the ones who stay true to their principles, the ones who refuse to compromise, they don't just win once, they keep winning. They don't have to look over their shoulder. They don't have to worry about their lies catching up to them. They don't have to live in fear of losing everything because they built it on something real. When you operate with integrity, you might not get there as fast as the people who cheat, but when you do, You'll have something they never will, peace. You won't have to pretend to be something you're not. You won't have to cover up lies with more lies. You won't have to fear being exposed because everything you built, you earned. That's a kind of confidence that can't be faked. That's a level of success that can't be taken away. People who take shortcuts, who lie, who manipulate to get ahead, they always think they're outsmarting the system. They believe that as long as they don't get caught, it doesn't matter. But what they don't realize is that even if no one else sees it, they do. They have to live with the fact that they didn't really earn it. And over time, that eats away at them. They start to feel like frauds. They start to second guess themselves. And because they know they didn't put in the real work, they never truly feel secure in their success. That's why so many people who take the easy way out end up sabotaging themselves. Integrity isn't just about doing what's right when people are watching. It's about doing what's right when no one is. It's about making the tough choices even when no one would ever know the difference. It's about refusing to take the easy way out, not because it's convenient, but because it's the right thing to do. And the people who understand this, the people who commit to doing things the right way, are the ones who win in the long run. There's something powerful about knowing you did it the right way, knowing you never had to lie, cheat, or step on others to get to where you are, knowing that your success is a reflection of your hard work, your discipline, and your commitment to excellence. That kind of success brings real confidence. It brings real fulfillment. And most importantly, it lasts. Too many people think integrity is optional. They think they can sacrifice their values for success and everything will be fine. But integrity isn't just about morality, it's about sustainability. It's about making sure that what you build doesn't collapse the moment pressure is applied, because the truth is, success without integrity is fragile. It might look strong on the outside, but one storm, one mistake, one moment of exposure, and everything can come crashing down. When you build your success on integrity, you don't have to be afraid of losing it. You don't have to be paranoid about getting caught. You don't have to waste energy covering up lies or pretending to be something you're not. You can move forward with confidence, knowing that everything you have, you built the right way. And that kind of success isn't just powerful, it's unshakable. The world is full of people who are willing to compromise their values for a quick win. People who are willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead, even if it means stepping on others. But those people never truly win. They might get what they want in the short term, but in the end, they lose. They lose their reputation, they lose their peace of mind, they lose the trust of the people around them. And once you lose those things, success doesn't feel like success anymore. If you have to lie, cheat, or manipulate to get something, you'll have to keep doing those things to keep it. That's why people who take shortcuts always find themselves in deeper and deeper trouble. One lie leads to another. One dishonest decision leads to 100 more. And before they know it, they're trapped in a cycle they can't escape from. That's why integrity matters. It's not just about doing the right thing. It's about protecting yourself from a future where you're constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering when everything is going to fall apart. The problem is too many people are focused on the short game. They're obsessed with instant gratification. They want success now, respect now, money now. But real winners aren't playing for today. They're playing for the long haul. They're not interested in quick wins that disappear overnight. They're interested in building something that stands the test of time. And the only way to do that is with integrity. Look at the people who have been successful for decades, the ones who have built empires, who have maintained their reputation, who have created generational wealth. They didn't get there by cutting corners. They didn't get there by betraying their principles. They got there by doing things the right way, day in and day out. They understood that success isn't just about getting to the top. It's about staying there. And the only way to stay there is to build on a foundation of integrity. The reality is the world is always watching. You might think you can get away with shortcuts, that you can manipulate your way to the top, that you can cheat the system without consequences. But eventually the truth comes out. And when it does, people remember. Your reputation is one of the most valuable things you have. And once it's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. That's why integrity is non-negotiable. Because once people stop trusting you, once they see that you're willing to compromise your values for success, they'll never look at you the same way again. Integrity isn't just about how you act when things are easy. It's about how you act when things are tough, when no one is looking. When you're faced with a choice between doing what's right and doing what's convenient. And the people who choose to do what's right, no matter what, are the ones who build the kind of success that lasts. People who win the right way sleep better at night. They don't have to constantly look over their shoulder. They don't have to worry about someone exposing their lies. They don't have to live in fear that everything they built will disappear overnight, because they know that what they have, they earned. And when you earn something the right way, when you build it with integrity, no one can take it from you. Success is not about how fast you can get there. It's about how long you can stay. Too many people are caught up in trying to win as quickly as possible. They want results today, not tomorrow. They want the reward without the struggle, the achievement without the process. And that's exactly why so many people fail, because they don't understand that life is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not about who gets ahead first. It's about who can keep going when everyone else gives up. Look at the people who seem to win overnight. They get the fame, the money, the attention, and for a while, it looks like they're on top of the world. But then a few years later, they're gone. They disappear. They lose everything. Why? Because they weren't built for the long game. They were chasing quick wins instead of building something that lasts. They didn't have the patience, the discipline, or the mindset to sustain their success. The people who truly win in life are the ones who understand that success takes time. They know that greatness isn't achieved in a day, a week, or even a year. It's built over decades of hard work, consistency, and sacrifice. The people who build legacies, the ones who change the game, they don't rush the process. They embrace it. They commit to it. They understand that every step, every struggle, every setback is part of the journey. Most people give up too soon. They start something, but the moment it gets hard, they quit. The moment they don't see instant results, they walk away. The moment they face resistance, they tell themselves it's not meant to be. And that's why so many people never reach their full potential, because they expect success to come easy. And when it doesn't, they move on to something else. But the truth is, the longer you stay in the game, the better your chances of winning. The marathon mindset is about endurance. It's about staying committed, even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when it feels like you're not making progress, even when everyone else seems to be moving faster than you. Because what most people don't realize is that the real work happens when no one is watching. The real breakthroughs come when you push through the moments when you want to quit. Every successful person you admire had moments where they felt like giving up. Moments where they doubted themselves, moments where they questioned if all the hard work was even worth it. But the difference between them and everyone else is that they kept going. They didn't let temporary setbacks define their journey. They didn't let slow progress convince them to quit. They understood that success is a game of patience, and those who can endure the longest will always come out on top. The problem is we live in a world that rewards speed. Everything is about instant gratification. People want to go viral overnight. They want to build a business in a month. They want to lose weight in a week. And when they don't get what they want fast enough, they move on to something else. But success doesn't work like that. The people who truly make it are the ones who put in the time, who do the work, who stay committed, even when it feels like nothing is happening. If you want to win in the long run, you have to stop looking for shortcuts. You have to stop expecting overnight success. You have to shift your mindset from trying to win fast to trying to win forever. Because the truth is, the faster you get something, the faster you can lose it. But when you build something brick by brick, when you earn every step, when you take the time to master your craft, no one can take that from you. Endurance is what separates the good from the great. Anybody can work hard for a short period of time. Anybody can be motivated for a few weeks. But real success comes from showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Even when it seems like nothing is changing. Even when it feels like you're stuck in the same place. Because what you don't see is that every step forward, no matter how small, is adding up. Think about the people who have built lasting success. the ones who are still winning decades later, they didn't get there by rushing the process. They didn't get there by chasing quick wins. They got there because they were consistent, they were patient, they were willing to put in the work for years, even when no one was paying attention. And that's exactly why they're still at the top when everyone else has faded away. Most people want results, but they don't want the process. They want the end goal, but they don't want the struggle that comes with it. And that's why most people never achieve lasting success, because the moment things get tough, they give up. But the ones who understand the marathon mindset, the ones who know that success is a long game, they embrace the struggle. They embrace the slow progress. They embrace the days when they don't feel like working, but they do it anyway. The longer you stay in the game, the better your chances of winning. The more you commit to the process, the more unstoppable you become. Because every time you push through a setback, every time you refuse to quit, you're building strength. You're building resilience. You're becoming the type of person who doesn't just win once, but wins for a lifetime. If you look at the people who burn out, the people who seem to have it all and then lose it, it's always the same story. They didn't respect the process. They didn't build a strong foundation. They were in a rush to succeed. And because of that, they weren't ready to handle what came with it. But the ones who take their time, who put in the years, who keep showing up even when no one is watching, they are the ones who last. The real winners are the ones who stay in the race the longest, the ones who don't let frustration, comparison, or slow progress make them quit. The ones who understand that success isn't about how fast you can get there, but about how long you can stay. The ones who know that the journey is just as important as the destination. The ones who refuse to give up no matter how long it takes. Most people fail because they spend too much time watching others instead of focusing on themselves. They look at what everyone else is doing, comparing, criticizing, analyzing, instead of locking in on their own path. They waste energy worrying about who's ahead of them, who's getting more opportunities, who's getting more recognition. And in that distraction, they lose sight of their own mission. You see it everywhere. People scrolling through social media, watching other people's success, feeling like they're behind, feeling like they're not doing enough. They get caught up in what someone else has instead of building what's theirs. They see someone buying a new car, starting a business, getting a promotion, and they feel like they're failing because they don't have the same thing. But here's what they don't realize. Success is not a competition. Your journey is yours. Your timing is yours. And as long as you're focused on someone else, you're wasting time that could be spent building your own success. The truth is, comparison is a trap. It steals your energy. It steals your motivation. It makes you feel like you're not good enough, like you're not moving fast enough. But the problem isn't that you're not making progress. The problem is you're measuring your progress against someone else's timeline, and that will always leave you feeling behind. You have to stop looking at other people and start looking at yourself. The only person you need to compete with is the person you were yesterday. The only measurement that matters is whether you're improving, whether you're getting better, whether you're putting in the work to become the best version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing you can control. People waste years trying to catch up to someone else when they should have been focusing on their own path. They chase trends, they copy others, they try to do what's popular instead of what's purposeful. And then they wonder why they feel lost, why they feel unfulfilled, why nothing seems to be working. It's because they were never supposed to follow someone else's blueprint. They were supposed to build their own. The most successful people don't get caught up in what others are doing. They don't care about who's winning today because they know they're playing for the long game. They don't waste time trying to be like someone else because they know their power isn't being themselves. They don't look left or right. They stay locked in on their mission. There's a reason why racehorses wear blinders. It's because if they start looking at the horses next to them, they'll slow down. They'll get distracted. they'll lose focus. And that's exactly what happens when you spend your time watching what everyone else is doing. You slow yourself down. You stop focusing on your own lane. You start doubting yourself. And that doubt leads to hesitation. And hesitation is the enemy of progress. If you want to win, you have to put on blinders. You have to stop worrying about who's ahead of you, who's behind you, who's getting more attention, who's moving fast. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is whether you're moving forward, whether you're better today than you were yesterday, whether you're putting in the work when no one is watching. Success is not about being first, it's about lasting. It's not about who gets there the fastest, it's about who can keep going when everyone else burns out. And the ones who keep going are the ones who don't waste time watching other people. They use that energy to build themselves, to sharpen their skills, to focus on their craft. The problem with comparison is that it makes you forget your own strengths. You start thinking that what someone else has is better than what you have. You start believing that their path is the right one and yours isn't good enough. But what you don't realize is that you have something they don't. You have your own unique gifts, your own unique talents, your own unique perspective. And the moment you stop trying to be like someone else and start owning what makes you different, that's when everything changes. The reason most people never reach their full potential is because they never take the time to figure out what they're really meant to do. They spend so much time looking at others that they never look within. They never develop their own gifts. They never tap into their own power. And so they go through life feeling lost, feeling frustrated, feeling like something is missing. But nothing is missing. They just haven't looked in the right place. If you want to be great, you have to stop paying attention to distractions. You have to stop letting other people's success make you feel like you're not good enough. You have to stop letting someone else's timeline make you feel like you're behind. You are exactly where you need to be. The only thing that matters is what you do with the time you have. Some people move fast and some people take longer to get there. Some people get early wins and some people build quietly for years before they see results. But none of that matters. What matters is whether you stay in the game, whether you keep showing up, whether you refuse to quit, no matter how long it takes. The world will always try to make you compare yourself. Social media will always show you someone who seems to be doing better, living better, winning faster. But you have to block out the noise. You have to remind yourself that your journey is yours alone. You are not in competition with anyone. The only thing that matters is whether you are doing the work to become the best version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, the ones who truly win are not the ones who move the fastest. They are the ones who stay the most focused. The ones who don't waste time watching others. The ones who don't get distracted by someone else's success. The ones who wake up every day committed to their own growth, their own progress, their own purpose. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others, the moment you stop worrying about who's ahead or behind, that's the moment you start to unlock your real potential. That's when you start to move differently. That's when you start to create your own path instead of following someone else's. That's when you stop trying to keep up and start building something that no one else can replicate. There is no competition when you are in your own lane. There is no race when you are walking your own path. The only thing that matters is whether you are willing to put in the work, stay patient, and trust that your time will come. Most people think that talent is what separates winners from losers. They believe that success is about being naturally gifted, about having something special that others don't. But the truth is, talent alone means nothing without discipline, hard work, consistency, and an unbreakable mindset. That's what creates champions. That's what separates those who succeed from those who fall short. You see it all the time. People with talent who never reach their full potential. People who start strong but fade away. People who seem like they have all the tools to be great, but they never quite make it. And it's not because they aren't capable. It's because they relied on talent instead of building discipline. They got comfortable. They thought their natural abilities were enough. And then when they faced real challenges, they weren't prepared. Talent might give you a head start, but it won't carry you to the finish line. Talent might make things easier in the beginning, but without discipline, it won't last. The people who win, the ones who keep winning, They don't depend on talent. They depend on their work ethic. They depend on their ability to show up every single day, whether they feel like it or not. They depend on their discipline to do what needs to be done, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, even when there are no immediate rewards. There are people out there who are less talented than you, but they are outworking you. They wake up earlier, they stay up later, they put in the extra hours. They don't make excuses. They don't wait for motivation. They don't rely on feeling inspired. They just do the work. And because of that, they pass up the people who had more natural ability, but never developed the discipline to maximize it. People waste too much time waiting to feel motivated. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect conditions, but success doesn't work like that. If you only move when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere. The winners are the ones who take action, no matter how they feel. They don't wait for motivation, they create it through discipline. They don't rely on inspiration, they rely on habits. The difference between average and great isn't talent, it's consistency. It's what you do every single day, not what you do once in a while. It's the ability to keep going even when it's boring, even when it's repetitive, even when it feels like you're not making progress. Because the truth is, most success is built in the moments when it seems like nothing is happening. Most breakthroughs come after months or years of unseen effort. That's why so many people quit before they reach their full potential. They expect instant results. They want success to come quickly. And when it doesn't, they lose interest. They move on to something else. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. But the reality is they just didn't stay in the game long enough. They didn't have the discipline to keep going when progress was slow. If you want to be great, you have to commit to the process, no matter how long it takes. You have to be willing to put in the hours when no one is clapping for you, when no one is watching, when no one is giving you credit. You have to be willing to sacrifice, to stay disciplined, to do the work day in and day out, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Discipline is about doing what you said you would do, even when the excitement is gone, even when the motivation wears off, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one else is holding you accountable. It's easy to be committed when you're inspired. It's easy to work hard when everything is going your way. But discipline is what keeps you moving when things get tough. Think about the greatest athletes, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest artists. They all have talent, but that's not what made them great. It was their discipline. It was their ability to wake up every morning and do what needed to be done, whether they felt like it or not. It was their willingness to sacrifice comfort for progress. It was their ability to keep showing up year after year, long after most people had given up. The reason so many people fail is that they choose comfort over discipline. They choose what's easy over what's necessary. They give in to distractions. They give in to laziness. They let their feelings dictate their actions. And because of that, they never see what they're truly capable of. They never push past their limits. They never break through to the next level. Success isn't about what you do when everything is going well. It's about what you do when things get hard, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're doubting yourself, when you feel like quitting. That's when discipline matters the most. That's when the winners separate themselves from everyone else, because anyone can work hard for a short period of time. Anyone can be disciplined when they feel inspired. But the real test is whether you can keep going when there's no excitement, no motivation, no immediate payoff. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they don't stay consistent. They fail because they let their emotions control their actions. But the ones who succeed, the ones who rise above the rest, they don't make decisions based on how they feel. They make decisions based on their goals. They don't ask themselves if they feel like working today. They just work. They don't wait for motivation. They just take action. Discipline is the ultimate equalizer. You might not be the most talented. You might not be the smartest. You might not have the best resources. But if you are disciplined, if you are willing to put in the work every single day, you will outlast everyone else. You will rise above the people who took shortcuts. You will surpass the people who relied on talent but never developed work ethic. You will prove that discipline beats talent every time. Most people underestimate the power of showing up every day. They think success is about big moments, about major breakthroughs. But the truth is, success is built in the small, consistent actions that most people overlook. It's built in the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the unseen effort. It's built in the moments when no one else is watching, when no one else is clapping, when no one else cares. If you can stay disciplined when it's hard, if you can stay consistent when it's boring, if you can keep pushing when you feel like giving up, there is nothing you can't achieve. Talent might give you an advantage, but discipline is what will keep you in the game. And at the end of the day, the ones who win are not the ones who had the most talent. They're the ones who refuse to quit.